Ah, bingo. C'est bon. All right.
Good evening, dear members of the council, members of the public. Just to mention, for individuals who would like to wear a mask, if you don't want to wear a mask, it's an option, so you don't have to. If you, so, when what we publish on the Facebook page, it was the former message that was copied. So now you know. Good evening, council members of the council. I would like also to mention we are gathering on the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq and Wolastoq First Nation, and as always, we will start with the national anthem. Now the reflection of the council. As a municipal, we take the commitment to look on our town inspiringly and favorably. We're also asking the councillors to have a right judgment at all time during our deliberation, so that all our actions are oriented in the best interest and wellness of the citizen of this town. Good evening. Good evening again. Mr. Clerk, we do have quorum for this evening, so we have the deputy mayor was absent because of family commitments. Number 3, declaration of conflict of interest. So are there any conflict of interest the members would like to mention for items on the agenda? Seeing none, well, thank you. In terms of the adoption of the agenda, we have a few changes. We have 3 citizens who asked to talk, so we'll give like the 10 minutes. And also, I know there was at least one person that wanted to add something. Mr. Paul Boudreau. 2 items, and one is to have access to water. And the second one is some like skateboards. So we will add it to the introduction to new business 12.2 and 12.3. Councillor O'Brien, could we also add? I have something for the fire department. It's on the agenda. Yeah. So I only need a motion to adopt the agenda as modified. Moved by Councillor Germaine Galland, seconded by Councillor Janice Cormier. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. We are at the adoption of the agenda for June 13, 2022. You should have received the minutes. So I need a motion to adopt the minutes of the last meeting as presented. Moved by Councillor Peter Bro, seconded by Councillor Sylvie Colette Boudreau. Questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. Next item, public presentation. We have 3 citizens we ask to talk. Mr. Léo Doiron. You can come up front. Okay. Mr. Mayor and members of the council. So the files seems to be getting thicker every day. So maybe we'll have 10 minutes. Can you hold? So I would like to start of the land's title, the definition and the necessity to register on the government system. I'll switch to English. Oh.
To provide a system for the registration of the title of land in the province and instrument related thereto, and to provide statutory authority for guaranteed land title, guaranteed being the key word. Are property boundaries guaranteed under the New Brunswick land title system? No. Under the land title system, the title of the property converted is granted by the government of New Brunswick, but not the boundaries. What is the land title? Land title is a parcel-based registration system which utilizes a parcel identifier, PID number, known as, to uniquely identify parcel of a land and to record interest in that land. Unlike the registration system, which was existed in New Brunswick for over 230 years, once parcel had been converted to land title as registered land, the interests of the individual and enterprises in a parcel are guaranteed by the province in the manner provided in the Land Titles Act. Just to cut it down shortly, it's almost like a card registration. They only do the search from the last time it went to see if there's a lien on it, and then you register it. How is the land title system different from the registry of deeds? In the existing registry of deeds system, when a property changes hand or is mortgaged to certified title, a lawyer or a title searcher hired by a lawyer must search through historical documents in order to determine who owns the land, where the land is located, and what are the charges against it. In the land title system, the title is guaranteed by the province. And to determine the title, anyone may request a certification of registered ownership for the parcel. The CRO will show the current state of the title to answer these questions. In order to convert your land to the new system, a lawyer must conduct one last search of the title in the registry of deeds and provide that information. The answer of the 3 questions above to Service New Brunswick together with a certificate of title. What is a certificate of registered ownership? Once a parcel is converted to land title system, the province of New Brunswick guarantees the title to its parcel of land in the manner provided in the Land Title Act by issuing a certificate of registration ownership. The CRC is essentially a snapshot of the title, answering the question, where is it, who owns it, and what are the charges against it. Each time a transition of the parcel is registered, the title register is updated and a new certificate is issued. Does land title guarantee my property boundaries? No. Land titles guarantee interests of individual and enterprises in a parcel of land, the title. but not to the extent of these interest boundaries. While the certificate of registration ownership contains a description of the parcel, the description is not conclusive at the boundary extent of the land. If the parcel is not the subject of a current survey plan, you must contact a land surveyor to determine the location of your property boundaries. Is my land automatically registered in land title system? No. In order to convert your land to the new system, a lawyer must conduct one last search of the title in the Registry of Deeds and provide that information. The answer of these three questions again. To Shediac, to Service New Brunswick, together with the certification of title. Conversion of the new system is required if you are going to have a mortgage on your land or buying a new property. Circumstances under a lawyer would normally be doing that research anyways. So you can't buy a piece of property, you can't sell a piece of property, you can't obtain a piece of property if they're not on land title. So, must I convert my land to the land title system? No, but a conversion is required if your land is being mortgaged or sold. Quit claim. These are something mistakenly called quit claim. Deeds for their speed and simplicity, but it does not give you a clear title. It is simple, a deed of interest. A deed of interest only. Donc, tout cela dit, la propriété.
This being said, like the property in question is not under this land's title, and the reason it's not there is because Danny, with his lawyer, Jimmy Store, was not able to determine who owns the land, where the land is situated, located, and where are the claims against it. So this question could not be answered. So that's why he's not part of the new system. There's the reason why the council has to do the right thing and take the assets that the Shediac taxpayers paid for. Probably like all the costs for Riverside Drive and the Pèlerin Wharf. Even like those we recuperated in the 80s when they spent our money to save like the Pèlerin's Wharf, where it was just coming apart, and the street we widened, that was widened with our taxes. After May's meeting, I called like Serge Gauvin, the lawyer for Service NB, to ask why Mr. and Mrs. Pèlerin were given a PID number for the property in question. It's at that time I noticed like the land was not registered in the land's title. So the only thing that was done by Jamie Story was to put a claim against the property. Afterwards, I called like the ombudsman office, and I got some information on the way to file a complaint against the town manager, Gilles Belleau, Danny Pèlerin, and all the other individuals involved in this case for the reprehensible actions in this file. There was a lot of work and energy spent in order to file an official complaint. First, I'm asking the parties involved in this file to do the right thing and to back off and transfer this piece of land and the wharf to the municipality of Shediac. We are contributing our contributions to the property tax. There is no reason why us as a citizen that we should pay extra additional cost or lawyers for something that should be done immediately by our officials. In conclusion, after learning on Friday I was denied to address the council, I had a discussion with the Mayor Yvon Lapierre, where I asked, by experience as a mayor, about of 20 years experience, did you ever deny someone to address the council? And his answer was simple, no. After I asked him the policy on public presentation, and his answer was very clear. So the nonprofit organization were asking for financial help. They're asking to do the presentation at the plenary meeting, but any other presentations, they are listened at the regular meeting where the minutes are taken. Please, council members, make sure democracy is followed and continued in our town. Mr. Mayor, so when you started this evening, you said that at the item before we take, when you mentioned the conflict of interest, if anyone has a conflict of interest, you should say it publicly. So this file, it's been several months we've been coming here. And I think there are conflict of interest, but it's only the members who can tell there are a conflict of interest. Otherwise, you have to see like the RCMP, like they did in Beaubassin East, and do an inquiry. All the town knows like you are friends, Jill Bello, Danny Pellerin. You were with Danny like at the farm in his truck. So at the end of the day, you might have conflicts of interest. And the other council members should be individuals to take the decision on this subject. Because right now, it's funny, I don't have like any, I'm not an elected official, but I have to do some research on something the council like, and the town should have brought us like before they take a decision. So at the end of the day, we're not leaving. So the next step, we're hiring some lawyers. If you want to put like another black mark against the municipality, we will continue. But at the end of the day, it's very easy. It's not this line like the town will expropriate it. We will open like we want what's us what we paid for like with our taxes over the last 60 years. Say like the street was a really small street, so all the land that was claimed was not surveyed, no description whatsoever. It belongs to the town. We paid for it. The citizen of the town of Shediac and Shediac, the taxpayers. So if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them. And thanks for your representation. Mr. Douara, any question? So nobody pushed their button. And thanks for your presentation this evening. And another thing, like in conclusion, even if you have another motion, like for a ramp somewhere, it will not change our mind, like for the Riverside Drive. The last time I was here, I told you like the safety on the Riverside Drive with all the big trucks. Instead of solving the problem, they closed the street. So now we have to travel like all over to the houses we want to go to. So there are no other developer in Shediac that can close like a street like this with for a long time. It's a great building, and I think we should have the tax base. But I go on Brown Street. There's no street I cannot use anymore. So Riverside is you cannot use anymore. So we need infrastructure if we want to get the development. Thank you. Next item, Mrs. Danielle Routier. Good evening. Yeah, you have 10 minutes, yeah. Do not worry, that's 10-minute max. So I would like to give a comment like Mr. Douara made this morning, a question like to talk to you. It's not a privilege, it's a right. Good evening. Just to tell you, I would like to, maybe not right away, I would like to get like the definition of a community park, because to me a community garden has to be integrated in a park of the town. So I saw something very sad, like seeing like when they were moving the community garden. It was very sad. The town is in development. It has to be done in a sustainable way. We should not go above the capacity of our ecosystem to protect our trees, like to improve shading spaces, like the lawn does not grow on asphalt or concrete, to do some awareness of the population. Keep in mind more than tomorrow, like those who will follow us. So I will go by a proposal. So I think it will be, Councillor Sylvie had mentioned, I think it was in January 2022, like the importance to send like a notice when someone just a confirmation, like when somebody writes to you, councilors and mayors. So we put mayor energy to write to you, at least if you don't read it, maybe just to say you receive it. I think it will be respecting us. I would like to make a proposal in the sense. Another proposal to make sure like the members of the public who are part of the environment committee receive the letters received at the council like, concerning the environment. Very important. Another, whereas the town of Shediac would like to offer a healthy environment for now and in the future to its population, and that has the health of the citizen of all ages dear to their heart. It's not up to the children to solve environment problem, but it's up to you, like a decision makers, to start the change. So when you had small children, it's important. I'm old enough. I might be the only one who has grandchildren, but it's important. Whereas we are living in an environmental and climate crisis, and it is essential not to deny like the environmental issues and to be proactive as a town to protect our biodiversity, whereas we cannot tolerate like the collateral damages of the pesticide, such as the soil pollution and the underground water and the biodiversity, and also like to be a nuisance for the neighbors. Like some individuals, their neighbors are applying pesticide, and it's difficult to talk before they tell us to go away. So the perfect lawn doesn't have its place in 2022. This souvenir, this remember that that every year, like you put like pesticide, then you'll have to use more fertilizers and pesticides. Whereas it is clear, it's important, clear that the communication strategy of the use of pesticide for aesthetic purposes and Ecovision 2025, like in September 2020, like they prepare a report of the eco responsibility. So it's something that was already done. Like the provincial government and federal government, they did it. It's not, we're not reinventing the wheel. Is announcing like the bylaw to forbid, like to prohibit the use of pesticide for spring 2023. So when I say clear, like this, like the strategy announces like the arrival of the bylaw. It's not only like a strategy for the sake of doing one and nothing will be done. I'm asking that to have a written proposal to start seriously research in order to prepare a municipal bylaw to prohibit like the use of pesticide for aesthetic purposes. To recognize in April 2022, we made a mistake by tabling this work. You have the authority to do so. Please have the political willingness to go forward. Like the bylaw, it can be modified, a motion can be modified or changed. These were my expectations, so I'm hoping, because sometimes what's sad when we come here, you do not ask any question, you're not reacting. Every time I saw reacting, I seem to be like a person that come here often. When Mr. Sebastien talked to paint like the lobster in blue, I think that's the only time I saw like reacting with the enthusiasm. So we saw like the pesticide has much interest, because you do have the willingness as a municipality, like the federal's not doing it and the province. So it's you as a municipality to decide. Thanks, Mrs. Routier. The only thing I will say, the only thing I will mention, it was because of the comment for Sylvie Colette Bourret, she asked like a confirmation comes from the municipality. So it was your intention. I was there. So that's what I got. It's just to mention it simply. I do not want to say. Mrs. Routier, you got the opportunity to talk for several minutes, and I just want to mention it. And as for the municipal bylaw, like the council has decided to proceed with an campaign of awareness. I know that it's not what was your goal, but that's what the council decided. It did not decide like to go with a bylaw. It was the recommendation of the committee, so I think it's important. It has to go somewhere. Already, like people are, they say we have to tell them like why we're bringing this. So this is the political willingness. Like that's yes, it's important, and the proposal individually. But I would like to get an answer because sometimes I send everyone and I do not get any answer back. But I have to write. I would like the way you're talking to me. I'm a responsible individual. I did my research and we're in 2022 and an environmental crisis, a climate crisis, and you're not moving. It's not our children. Our children will suffer. It's today we have to do some way. So the pesticide is not, it's only a beginning of something. Because yes, there are several, the water, trees, everything, but the committee is not active to show it's a priority for you. And I think it's important. Yes, you have to do something today, do the research, and you have the right. Councillor O'Brien. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, you pushed the button. Thanks, Mrs. Boudreau, Mrs. Routier again, sorry. And we appreciate your presentation, and it's always the same message. So this evening, Mr. Routier, I would like to address your emails and presentation that were sent to the council on many, many occasions, at least since the beginning of my term. In one of your emails, you mentioned like the municipal council is not doing any favor when you are expressing your opinion like in front of you, and our attitudes are divided. We have a condescending attitude, a very troubling to your presentation. Reading, interpreting your emails, I felt like the same way because of the tone of your emails. In my opinion, it's become more and more difficult to understand the intentions behind some of your comments and to see the importance of the learning in your suggestion. Being elected by the citizen, I understand very well my role. My role to listen and help the citizen while balancing like the interest of the public and the municipal government. I'm not done yet. Your opinions and recommendations on this important subject are being heard. So are the opinions and recommendations of the hundreds of other citizens who are bringing some recommendations on different matters. Mrs. Routier, everyone is valuing different things, and they have different causes dear to the heart. As I just mentioned, we have balance all those requests and take informed decision with our term. So when I'm talking about informed decision, I'm definite decision based on the recommendation from experts, either the science, legal, or financially, etc. To be passionate and knowing a subject doesn't mean like we are experts in the matter. It's admirable to see your passion, but we all have to know our limits. So Mrs. Routier, so I think you share enough information and you did enough presentation at this point, and we have enough information to take decision at the council level. I'm not done. I did not interrupt you, so please do not interrupt me. I'm serious. At your last point, Mrs. Routier, this is my last point. This was after this morning's email. So these are your own words addressed to each member of the council. Quote, like your subtitles and YouTube meeting would be like a good material for Just for Laugh festival. It's very insulted like for the francophones. So Mrs. Routier, I'm taking the opportunity to specify I'm Acadian. I'm a proud Acadian, and no way I will change my style and vocabulary just to please Mrs. Danielle Routier. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councillor O'Brien. Can I tell you for the subtitle? It has nothing to do with the title. I do not understand what it means. I'm not a subtitle expert. I think it's generated by a computer, so. I respect Mr. O'Brien, but what can I say? And you're not done with us. Have a good evening, Mrs. Routier. So the next one, citizen Ralph Pritchard.
I'm slightly intimidated. This is my first time here. Hopefully I won't
right.
stumble or go beyond my 10 minutes. Monsieur Mayor and councillors, I'm here to ask for two things. And before I do ask, I want to give you a little bit of background, some little history to it. I live in Cornwall Point. I've been there for 31 years. I'm one family of approximately 35, and I'm here representing the majority of them. In somewhere in front of 2016, Evergreen Drive was transferred over to the city from private to, well, city, the town of Shediac. Mm-hmm. The town gratefully took it on, big job. And so the first thing that we needed to kind of get straightened out was Evergreen Drive had always been 20 kilometers per hour. I don't know if any of you got a picture of the street or if you've ever been down there. It's basically a country lane, 20 to 25 feet wide, which we love. But the problem is we have children there. We have pets in there that sometimes get away. And the kids come screaming down one of the 5 lanes that run off Evergreen Drive out into traffic. Hardly able to stop if you're doing anything more than 20 kilometers per hour. On top of that, going any faster will basically churn up the road and turn it into potholes, which we gratefully accept the fact that the town comes out on a regular basis to clean it up. Now, I spoke to Gilles Belleau, the manager back then in 2016, and I told him the issue we had if we wanted to take the case to the RCMP. Apparently, I didn't know it at that time, but he said, the RCMP said, yeah, once the town takes over something, it automatically defaults to the town's 50 kilometers per hour. So if you needed to get down to 20, you have to talk to them and get them to change it to 20 or make sure it stays at 20 and put up their own sign that says 20 instead of our sign that says 20. So Gilles and I worked on that for a few months, and in the end, after speaking with the then council, provided me with a letter on letterhead bill to Shediac that basically says the street is 20 kilometers per hour. And they were very quick in coming out to replace the sign was at the start. In this shadow here, that was, it says cul-de-sac, but there's the 20 kilometers per hour. So they came out, replaced the sign. The funny part is it's exactly the same sign. It's made by the same manufacturer, but it's recognized by the RCMP as being legit. So fast forward now to 2019, 20, 21. We know what the COVID did. We all stayed indoors, so we didn't really, participate outside. This year, there's a lot more of it going. And so I once again contacted the mayor, Gilles, in January, and he said there were a few things going on right then, but he'd work on it and get back to me. And sure, there were people that were on leave and things like that. So I was forwarded to Emile to look at it to see if I could present 2 proposals that I'd like you, if possible, to vote on. One is to advise all the administrative members inside of Town Hall that the speed is, actually 20 kilometers per hour. If anybody calls, that's what it is. And the only reason that we're stressing that is because somebody in our community had called to see if they could borrow the flashing "you're going way too fast" sign.
Okay.
But they said, well, isn't your road 50 kilometers per hour? To which they said, No, it was my understanding that it was 20. So there's some holes here that need to be filled. The second thing is that, let's face it, it's a few characters that live there. It's friends of people who live there, you know, so it's on us to make sure that everybody who comes to visit us knows that it's 20. It's pretty obvious. There's two big signs that says 20, but people coming off the highway, you know, they're just coming home from work. They don't really realize it. But at this point, we need to be able to remind them that, hey, don't forget, this road is 20 kilometers per hour. Please slow down. You know, you've got the kids now, especially on the summer. I've never seen it more active, and for good reason, because like I said, we're all huddled in for the last 2 years. So what I'd like to do is those two things. Make sure that everybody in the town hall knows that it's 20, and based on what we have on record. And the second is to do a mail out to all the residents in the community. Now, I know that's a task, especially if you already had lots to do, and by what I've seen, you're fairly busy. So what I did, as a realtor, I was able to go through Service New Brunswick. I found all the addresses of the people who live there, put it on a spreadsheet, sent it to Emile. So really all you have to do is run a little app through there, print 38 envelopes, put 38 stamps on it, and that's all we ask. Once that happens, and we all kind of get reminded, and I'm on that list as well, once we all get reminded that, hey, this is 20, let's take this serious. If we see some abusive behavior, well, then we can call the RCMP and ask them to do something about it. So I don't know what to do from here. I'm kind of presenting it to see if you'll take me up on it.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. At this point, I think we probably need to chat with the RCMP just to make sure that that's doable. I mean, in terms of the 20 kilometers, I don't.
Well, it's not the RCMP.
I'm no expert in the area.
The RCMP is putting it back on you.
Yeah.
And when I received this,
Yeah.
back in 2016, I hand-delivered this to the RCMP.
Okay.
And they said, yes, thank you, that's all we need.
Well,
So
if it's as simple as that, I think
it's
it'll be
really
quick.
an administrative thing.
All right. So I think we can certainly approach the RCMP with that. I mean, in terms of just to make sure, provide them the letter, at least they can know, and then we can send it out to residents, as long as that works. I mean, since we've done it before.
Well, my issue is that I have been at this for the last 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, I know.
And we are going into summer. Like I said, I haven't seen as many activities with kids. I hate to come into September and then have 2 months where these kids are basically open
Yeah.
for potential danger.
You'd like if we could address it in post-haste. Okay. Conseiller Jeanette?
I don't think he's mentioning the RCMP. I think that's been done. I think he just wants us to send a letter to the
Yeah.
citizens to say that its speed limit is 20
20.
and
Yeah.
not 50.
As long as it is 20 and it's
Well,
a
he
good
has
thing.
it. If it's there,
I point
it's
to,
there.
Yeah.
I point to this letter signed by the town manager.
Council decision in
It-
2016.
All right.
Reduce the limit to.
So then
There's no
maybe,
argument,
Okay.
with it,
Yeah.
and everybody there have no argument
that.
with it either. It's just a matter of being able to sing from the same song sheet,
Yeah.
you know? And I know others would like to, you know, to get on the schedule to putting the sign up, and there's people talking about speed bumps and all that stuff, but first, we need to
Look at that part.
get this issue out of the way.
All right.
And I hate to see it go, like I say, till September, because we have been working on it, you know yourself, for the last few months.
Yeah. Conseiller Paul?
Autrement, faire avancer le dossier, moi je peux faire une proposition.
To make this file go forward, I would like to make a motion. Since we have adequate information, since we have the information, since we have the adequate information that the speed limit is 20 kilometers an hour, whereas we have the address, I move that the town communicates with the resident of the area, communicating like the speed limit. Moved by Councillor Paul Boudreau, seconded by Councillor Emile O'Brien. Questions on the motion?
Tous en faveur, en diront oui?
All those in favor signify aye, against nay. Motion carried. Thank you. Perfect. So next item 7, correspondence. Mr. Clerk. So the first letter comes from Mrs. Danielle Routier concerning the community garden file. You all receive it when we got it by email. So we wanted to add it on the 13th, but we could not. The next one is from is Colin and Allison Thornton concerning the pesticide file. Mr. and Mrs. Thornton are mentioning they have a concern not to have a bylaw. Next correspondence, Able Sale. Georges Richard, the president, is asking for an annual grant. I think we gave $1,000 in the budget every year, like they do their official request. Councillor Sylvie? Since we received the official request, I move that we give the budgeted amount of money for year 2021 for Able Sale. Moved by Councillor Sylvie Colette Boudreau, seconded by Councillor Germaine Gallant. All those questions on the motion? All those in favor say aye. Against nay. Motion carried. The next letter is from Mr. Adam Kane. He is responsible for the funding for Tri-County Ground and Search Rescue Group. So they submit the requests every year. It's for the regional municipalities, so they submit the request. So in my knowledge, we gave some funds. I thought we did it. It's been several years, but I think over the last couple of years, maybe 10 years ago. I know later we have several financial requests. Should we treat it now, process this now or later with the others? I will make the motion to make a donation. How much was it? I have 250 that we did several years ago. I know we haven't done it for several years, at least 5 years, if it's not more. So I'll make the motion we give $250. Moved by Councillor Emile O'Brien, seconded by Councillor Boudreau. Questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor signify saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. Next correspondence, the last one, from it's not on the budget. It's at the discretionary fund of the council, as the other request. So the last correspondence is from Mr. Georges Pinard. It's a request to purchase a parcel of land which is adjacent to the Pascal Poirier house, so as any other request. So I'm referring to the administration adjacent to the Pascal Poirier house. Is it where the shoemaker is, or? So I wanted to amalgamate part of the land. So Councillor Sylvie, to make sure the letter we receive, I mandate the administration to look at this request and maybe to come back maybe to the last meeting, because it's been a while. In August, moved by Councillor Sylvie Colette Boudreau, seconded by Emile O'Brien. I have a question. The parcel of land, is it a parcel that is it on the Pascal Poirier house? Because is the land divided in several pieces, or? So I send it to Denis, so maybe they'll be able to look at it. All those in favor saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. So the other correspondence, like it's the road improvement, like of the provincial designated road. Councillor, if you could read the more. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The 5-year plan designated provincial highways 2025-2029. Whereas the Department of Transportation and Infrastructure is requesting an update to the 5-year plan to establish its regular problem of designated provincial highway improvements for the 2025 construction season. Therefore, be it resolved that the 5-year plan be submitted as follows. 2025 Route 133 between King Street to South Cove Road. Storm sewer repairs, drinkable water pipe replacement, sanitary sewer repairs, curb and gutter and sidewalk replacement, and paving. 2026, Route 133, South Cove Road to Pointe du Chêne Road. Storm sewer repairs, replace like the drinking water pipe, sanitary sewer repairs, curb, gutter, and sidewalk replacement, and traffic also like the circulation lights and paving. 2027 Route 133 Saint Anne Street to King Street storm sewer repairs, replace like drinking water pipes, repair like the sanitary sewer pipe, curb gutter and sidewalk replacement, and paving. 2028 Route 133 Hannington Road. The planned projects include storm sewer system repairs, curb and gutter and sidewalk repairs, and paving. Finally, 2029, Route 133, Pointe du Chêne Road to Gold Beach Road. Storm sewer repairs, replacement of drinking water pipes, sanitary sewer repairs, curb, gutter, and sidewalk replacement, and paving. I shall move, Mr. Mayor. Moved by Councillor Sylvie Colette Boudreau, seconded by Patricia Bourque-Chevary. As always, this is the list of requests. It does not guarantee like we will get the funding in the same order. It's as the province give us some money. I think the 10 years like they went to the council, maybe 2 or 3 times like we got it. It's not every year. I continue like for 2024. He already confirmed like an amount for Chesley Street. Yes, it's true. So that's why we're starting for 2025. So maybe all those in favor signify saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. So the next request is to use like it's Matthew Cassidy to use like a parking lot from a Coach Atlantic Group. It's to allow like for transportation services for people going to the council from Dieppe. It's just a request to use the parking lot. Because the way I read the letter, we will go. So we would need a motion to allow Maritime Bus, Coach Atlantic, to pick up some the people at the festival parking request to bring them to the concert, to the event in Dieppe. Councillor Germain. Is there something going on like at the center or not? I will move that we accept that. Moved by Councillor Germain Galland, seconded by Councillor Bourque-Chevary. Information, Denis? No. Other questions? Councillor Patricia. I don't know what is a request in terms of parking, but if ever there's not enough space at the arena, do they need to get some kind of permission? We could ask them maybe to communicate. Then that's something I wanted to do, like to notify that they have to submit a request. And even like if the LST is asking, it's a request we could make to them, but it's strictly like the parking. So they say like we gave them the permission. It's only for parking purposes. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. Next item. Like standing and special committee report, financial report for May 2022. I need someone like to read the resolution, Councillor Germain. Like the financial report for May 2022, that the financial report be adopted as presented, moved by Councillor Germain Gala, seconded by Councillor Paul Boudreau. Questions on the motion? Questions on the motion? I know it's detailed and we saw it not too long ago. All those in favor saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. Next item, protection services, fire department. We have the report from my fire chief. I know it's what is it? Your lieutenant or what is your title? I know we have the statistic here, like for May 2022. So if you have any questions, you can ask them. Thanks for being there. Keep up the good work. 8.3, like the reports on building permit. So the table we get every month. So it's for until the end of May. We are at 38 millions, close to 38 millions in building permit. So May was 3.7 million. So for them, so it is still it's still going on. And next year it was a record like 55 millions, over 55 millions. So now there's still several months to go, so till the end of December. So we'll see what will happen until then. 9, report from the general director. So 2 files I would like to share with you for human resources, like you showed in the Times and Transcript. So some position ads. We have 4 positions. We're opening like 2 departments, like 1 community agent, like for an undetermined period. And the other one is the tourism officer. We're opening also the communication officer, so it's closing this week. And I have the position for municipal operation, which should close on July 14. So I'm just mentioning, like, I would like to thank Mark for his 2.5 years at the town. He was a very important resource, like for the administration and the council. So Mark is leaving in building engineer with the University of Moncton. So I would like to wish you publicly good chance and thank you for the 2.5 years he gave us. It was a pleasure to work with you, Mark. On behalf of the Municipal Council, Mark, we're thanking you for your services during your time. We're wishing you like good success, and you have a new addition to your family, Felix. So it's always a pleasure. So. And today, this evening, it's our last meeting with Marsha. Wish you a great summer. You can still come to Shediac. Myself and Mark were working. We're working a lot for the transition before we can replace him. So to make it as smooth as possible, so we have some things to mention. So things are going well. And the other thing, well, with municipal reform, we are the 3rd speed, so it's going really fast. So it started the budgets, and so we're expecting to meet like the facilitator for the Shediac entity. So it should be done within the next couple of days, and the meeting, budget meeting, should be held in July and August. So there's a transition committee meeting, several also meetings in Moncton with the Regional Service Commission. So it's interesting to see what's happening. So at the end of the week. So yes, that's it for now. So the recommendation from the Regional Service Commission. So 10.1. This one is for the Councillor Germain, if you could read it. Public utility line for the Janet Tempoco and Daya subdivision. Be it resolved that the amount of 2,400 be accepted as payment in lieu of public utility line. I shall move. Moved by Councillor Germain Gallant, seconded by Emile O'Brien. Questions on the motion? Councillor, not necessarily on the motion. What is the balance? The rest in the account? You can send it so by email, like a report. It goes in the special fund, like every time there is a subdivision. All those in favor saying aye, against nay, motion carried. It brings us to item 11 in unfinished business. Agreement with the marina to transfer the road. So we had a meeting in camera, a discussion in camera meeting because of the agreement. And we need like to make a public resolution after those private discussions. So the discussion was around like to limit like the work of this year, like for Centennial Drive and Seaman Street. It's a small street that goes on Centennial Street. So it would be to allow like the work as described for the year. So the funding is in place. So we went to the borrowing commission. So we would need a motion in that sense, at least like to be able to start this. And we'll see. I know Councillor Janice, you had something you wanted to say. So maybe you could do it now if you want to make the motion, but we have to go to make progress, or if not, we're not making any progress. So I would just like to mention like the Commodore, like the manager and one of the members of the board. I don't know if the council, like before we proceed to make the motion, if they have any questions concerning the marina project. Any questions, comments for the members of the marina, from the members of the marina? I don't know, we negotiate this, like, there's only one question, and I was maybe a little bit in the dark for this one, and I don't know how it works. The councillor and the person is there, well, we can facilitate this. So there was things like Janice present this also. It's a concern. I don't know why they engage like the John Line Park, that the town would losing like the waterfront like on the east side, and would recuperate like the land. What was the intent to have the waterfront? Because if I'm looking at the sketch presented by Marc and Gilles, we would have no waterfront at all, like it would stop on Brown Street. So it's something that was discussed maybe at the last minute. Because what's happening, like there's that little square, so the line is straight, and there's a little square of land that is there. So especially for the concern you had, like for parking for the slip pass users, like having this point, that's where we park like all like the trailers. So it would have be like a straight line. So it was no reason. And you would be losing like the waterfront for the public on the eastern side for Pointe du Chêne and Brown Street. So that was my concern. It's just something that was mentioned and discussed. Councillor Paul, it's not something that was put in the agreement. It was not part of the original agreement. So I relied on the site plan. So thanks, Councillor Paul. Any more questions? If not, we would need a motion. Because we need this motion to start a tender for the Centennial Drive, yes? Just to clarify like the scope of the work. to go from one spot to another. That's something it was done between Centennial and the Marina. So it would be part of a Pleasant Street, would have been part of the Centennial. But if it doesn't go forward, well, we would only do like Centennial, and Pleasant would only be done next year. Mr. Mayor, so maybe would like to add like it's essential, like because it's been Dorian storm, like we had damages on the west side, and today like with all the strong winds, and we're losing part of the road. We lost about 15 kilometers of road. So if no work is being done this summer, we'll need like to proceed. So it's something like I wanted to mention. In the past, Jerry, the town was doing some road patching, and some were done also like in the sections. In the past, like some patching was done. So maybe before. It's always like holds like. There is some surface water like a problem, like it's going direct underwater. So when they're doing snow removals, it's like a tunnel, and sometimes like Mark went there and there was almost 2 feet of water. So the drainage is out there. What's happening, like it's damaging the road, and also with the sweeper also just to clean this. It's something that was done, but this year like we have some potholes that are still there, so it's quite serious. We do not see them. Councillor Paul and then Councillor Emile. What was our share for this project? 440 or for the project with parking? It was 400 something. 480, but we had 100,000 like. I think it was one was 195 and. It's included in the 400,000. It's 580, and I think 100,000 were coming back. So it was included in the 50,000 for engineering and contingencies, just to have a little bit less. So the agreement with the agreement, so maybe just extend it to our land so the works, and it would help also like the marina, if we could continue. So the amount is maybe it's excessive, but have no problem like Centennial, Pleasant, and I would do Centennial and Pleasant and do the work section, maybe the northern section up to the limit, which is I do not have like the map in front of me. I don't have the costs here. It would be parking like so what I think like we want to make sure like it is clear before we invest in a significant amount. So if the councillor take the decision to go forward, well, so that is my my opinion on this, and I congratulate you on what you did also. On this point, the Councillor Boudreau, and I think this evening we need a decision, one way or the other, to transfer the line. It's not in 6 months or 1 year, so we have damages we have to repair. So it's been since last year, like even the council, like they mentioned in February to go forward to transfer the line. So I think it's important, like we know one way or the other, if the town is not on board, we'll take the $100,000 and we do something else. Councillor Paul and Councillor Emile. I just wanted to be clear on what we will do. Are we voting just to do like the Seaman and Greenwood Drive, or we could decide like the limits? So it's for the project that will be done over a 2 years period, and for Centennial, Seaman, Pleasant, and the Elizabeth Street. These are small street, and Elizabeth Street. The Pleasant would be maybe all the Pleasant Street, like John line up to Béliveau Street. We have to divide them into, because it's too much work for 1 year. It's too much for only one season. So So as we discussed with the marina, to do it the Centennial, and this is the water line that's more urgent because there was a water break. It broke twice, so we need, and Siemens Street would be done. It's just beside, so we can decide to do like part of Pleasant Street if we want to do so. That what was planned, but it to do like the part the town and we would have an agreement, the town would have an agreement with the marina, but to limit only with where the areas owned by the municipalities, we can do it. But it's possible, because of the municipal director, to do other Pleasant all at once next year. But we have to do it at least the intersection from Centennial to up to Béliveau. So that would be something to do all at once. We could do part that's going up north. That would be possible, but my only concern, I do not want to do some work on private land like we saw. That this is my only concern. Like if we POC up, I'm fine with that, as long we don't get on a private land. This is my Mr. Filion. Thank you. I'm treasurer also at the marina, so. On this point, and I'm happy like you made this remark, I would like to specify it's not work on private land because we contribute like $100,000 and we're contributing the land. So it would be an extension of Pleasant Street up to the slip entrance, and I think for the town it would allow to several things. It's an opportunity, like to solve like a draining problem that is it's been happening over the last few years, and then there's a possibility to improve the safety of the region, but a fire hydrant, if there's a disaster, a fire in the boats, or I think it's important to have one. And maybe one of the most important point, it's the town would purchase like water, like on the waterfront. You don't have a lot, and you'll finish Pleasant Street with a nice sidewalks up to your line, and then the marina. If we have $100,000 budget, well, we'll try to patch it. So what is the difference, like if you have a trail or sidewalk or a little boardwalk? So there's already people like sitting on rocks and concrete beams, and they will to see the sunset. It's an improvement to the park, and it's also an opportunity to increase parking for your park. Another thing, like when the marina were very open to discuss. You had a strong interest to increase like the number of slip paths. If we have a collaboration project between the marina and the town, we're very open to increase this capacity to allow more locals to put their boat into the water. But there is some kind of work to be done. So we saw it as a win-win, like the marina and the town working together. So once we will finish the project, we would have invested 2.6 million. We still have some work to do on the slip and some work to do as well. So we budgeted for the street $100,000. So when we learn like the town would do Pleasant Street, I live on Brown Street. And we said, well, before we spend $100,000 and replace a driveway and do a seawall like to protect against erosion, if the town does Pleasant Street, there might be some opportunities to work together and leverage those funds. And it started more than 2 years ago, and it brought to a collaboration where if we would be ready like to transfer the land, because there were a lot of opportunities for you. So that's where we're at, and I think Jerry made a good point. We're very deceived if we are not going forward. And I think, in my opinion, well, it's difficult for us to wait longer. Last winter we had other erosion, so if we have other storms this year, well, we have to do something. Something has to be done. I understand, like, you had to divide it like 2 years or two, but if we had a certainty that would be there, we might decide to wait, but we would be hesitant to work. We need to do some kind of repair, at least for this year. And I think the proposal, like you will have a really nice street, and then you have a nice park. We're talking maybe 125 feet more. So this portion and we're respecting this. So we would like to get to have an idea. Is it something that's been postponed to next year? But our preference would be to do it this year. But to clarify, private, we're transferring the land, so it belongs to you. It looks on like Pleasant Street is going to the slip, and we have also like a place where the snow do, and we have a fire hydrant, which should be in the interest of the two parties. We have to think in terms of long-term vision. It's one of the nicest property. You have a great park. We have a marina, and we just spent 2.6 millions, especially for water, just to protect like all the new wharfs. But we also have in mind like the clubhouse, like the buildings are are getting. You have a boardwalk. People go. It's private land, but we never prohibit like the locals to go down, and there are some possibilities to do something. Thank you, Miss Emile. Thanks. It's a really good reasoning. I know it's great, and your argument is great, but Mr. Mayor, the only thing I will support the motion is Centennial Drive and Siemens Street. As we said right off the bat, anything beyond, I won't support this, not for this evening. Councillor Sylvie, Councillor Patricio, thank you. And now we need a motion after, okay? Thank you for your presentation. As O'Brien said, like, it all makes sense, but the question, because I don't remember, like, the 500, so the 170,000. So if we were to remove, let's say, like, for this year, we do not get the property that belongs to the marina, and we only go up to our property line, is it in this amount? No, this is extra. It's outside the limit of the properties. Respectfully, well, I would. So the first time over those 4 years, I would like to put it in our 5-year plan. Having it might. For a lot of people, it would make sense to do it this year, but I think it's a big amount of money that we saw it at a meeting, and all of a sudden, we have other priorities, and that's been dragging for a while, and I would rather put it on the plan. So I will go with what the majority of the council will vote, but if it's next year, it could be next year for us. Might make sense, but I think this year it's a little bit too quick for individuals who've been waiting for something else, like for Municipal Street that are aging too, existing streets. So that this is my, and I think like your plans was to do Pleasant this year, right? Yeah. So these are discussion because it made sense. Like if you're doing the work. The 407, yeah. That's why like the discussion were this year. So, and if we can work together next year, well, we will consider that too. So, but if we take a message like the town, to me like it's not something we did not abandon. It's just to postpone it and have it in our 5-year plan. Is it? I cannot make any promises, but logically. So do the present, it's now, but yeah, we have to. We should remember, like when in February, when you made the motion, like we had to do all the members to get the authorization. It was done like within a couple of weeks. So, are you serious? Is the council serious or not? Well, we have to know where we're going with this. Councilor Patricio, Councilor Janice. Yes, if the town decides not to go forward this summer, so the work you will be doing with the rocks, and is it lost? Like as Councillor Sylvie said, like we put it in our 5-year plans. It's like next year. Is it something like that will you put somewhere and then we have to do back? I'm not sure. Like we have to consult with the expert. The difference, well, this 125 feet is not be built to the standards of the town. It would be more like a standard of a driveway that has a solid basis, and that might not be as well. The seawall, we have to do it, but it was more like will it be done the same way? Like, because I don't work in construction, that was questioning this, but my understanding was we almost need to do the two at once. If not, you have to redo your basis. It might be a question more for you. So these are details, quite specific details. So it's better to do it all at once. And it for us, well, there is an opportunity. Well, that's where it was more beneficial for everyone. It was the first thing, like we're talking about the fire hydrant. So we have the fire chief. I always said we have to pump water from the sea. Is it something that they can answer? Like, is it something that oh, I cannot hear the comment. He's off mic. He says can be done in two ways. So that's the first time we're talking about fire hydrant. It was part of the plan. It was the plan that was discussed, and we saw it as a good benefit. Thank you. Councillor Janice. After discussion, we all know, like, transfer the land. It's not something that will be done, but what I understand from the marina, they would go forward, like, to work on their piece of land, and in that it would be. I would like to see if it's the case. We go forward. We do this part of the plaza. It's really not a nice street to wait next year. If it's what we decide to do, not to do the land transfer, not do the project, I think we should keep the Pleasant and do this part of the Pleasant possibly for. I know with the discussion, like we would probably want to do the transfer, and probably, as they said, like they cannot wait like another 2-3 years because the streets are full of. I would go like with the old plan and do our part of the Pleasant Street. And the intention was to collaborate with the marina, and maybe if we do it all at once, it would be cheaper than $100,000. So they might have some savings. So marina is non-profit, so maybe we could work with them and do Pleasant Street this year. It's not we do not want to wait. There's a risk of waiting. If there's a storm this year, we could have serious problem if we do not have the seawall protecting them. So it says if you did not go down, it's really this. I think maybe we won't go forward the project, but we should do the street this year because they'll do their part of the street. I have 3 other individuals who want to talk. No. I have 3 other individuals. 2, they already had the opportunity to talk. So for now, there's no motion on the table. Not yet. So we're just talking. We have to get to something. So I will allow Councillor Peel, because since he didn't have the opportunity to talk. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm ready to motion. And these individuals, we owed it to them, like to, and I totally agree. And to do the section like up to the property, so they can go forward. So I wouldn't want to wait like another year. It could be other storms and damages. We have to act like to give them some kind of direction. And we go up to the property on Pleasant Street, up north, and Seaman Street. Moved by Councillor Peterborough. Questions on this motion? It's almost the same subject. Councillor Paul and Councillor Patricia. We're talking the same thing. So in all due respect, like Respect Street, in my knowledge, it stopped to Centennial. So the rest of the park and the wharf is the wharf. So it goes to public and say we are repairing the Pleasant, and it's clear my position. To go up we will do it. Wasn't part of the map? If not, like, the Pleasant ends to the limit of John Lyons. And so, before Jerry, so we're supposed to fix the problem, redo the surface. And it was something that was done, and it was up to the limit, so we didn't want to go further. So I think that's the loan we had. I think it was to add some parking. We would eliminate it, so because we're talking to do only present as it does. So it would simplify the work being done, and we would not build any trails, and would we do it, or because it would stop at the property limits. It's the only case I agree in. I was saying to have a little apartment Pleasant Street, so I understand that. Or do the percent like the Pleasant Street continue up to the entrance? It's 168 Pleasant Street where it is like. If not, you wouldn't have any address. So. Thank you, Paul. Councillor Patricio, then Councillor Emile. The question might be for Mark. So part of Pleasant Street, it goes up to the yellow line, just before the blue. So we're supposed to do so, and it does not impact like the amount of 480,000. So it's a 5-year plan for the 290 something. I just want to make sure I know. So you're good, Councillor Emile. Last one. Question for Max. So the part of the street, does it go up to the gate? It stop at the park limit. I don't know if you have the sketch. It's a little lighthouse. Yeah, it stops at the lighthouse. So this is my only concern, like work on a private line, like the marina is a non-profit organization, but it's still a private line. So I agree with the discussion we had. We're doing on the public land. Maybe just to clarify, it's just a little bit before the lighthouse. At least it gives you an overview. I have a motion on the table, moved by Councillor Peter Roro and seconded by Councillor Janice. I would like to add, like, the town continue to work in collaboration with the marinas so we can do some work together, as we were supposed to do. So once we do the street, I just want to understand. You mean when you do a Pleasant, you'll be able to do that street? I understand, like, what are your issues and the priorities, and I think if you do it, pass it as presented to me, like the town, in my opinion, will not do the rest. So we're giving like the land and the $100,000. That's the way I'm taking it. It's a nonsense like to do a little part of this year, and then this year you'll start like higher, so we'll go above a part that is done. I don't think it's working. So we were supposed to collaborate together, like to get like a price to do it all at once and to have some to savings. No, I think if the town would say, like, once we do the Pleasant, we're really interested to do the project with the marina, we will extend Pleasant Street. It will belong to the town, so the town can do whatever they want, like in terms of sidewalks and all for a tourism side. So you're solving your draining problem, but if you're giving the okay, we have to assess, is there something we can do, like trying to spend the winter and minimize our risk? But if doing just a small part of the road, the message I get, my interpretation I will share with my board members, I think the project is gone, and we need to spend $100,000, the best way to protect for us, protect the road, and to get the best outcome possible. No problem with that, but so yes. So on the motion on the table to Centennial Seaman and a little part of Pleasant Street, all those in favor saying say aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. Thank you. I would like to mention also the agreement you asked us to negotiate. We need a resolution also, because it's still up in the air. You mandated the administration to do to negotiate the transfer of the street, and the decision was taken. So the agreement is still open. So there's a resolution determined like we are negotiating an agreement. So what you decide doesn't mean like we need like a resolution to say like we'll not go proceed with the agreement. Essentially, moved by Councillor Emile O'Brien that we not proceed with the agreement with the marina. Seconded by Councillor Paul. Questions on the motion? Councillor Emile, then Patricia. Okay, Councillor Patricia. Maybe for the agreement. It's concerning. We had some loans. Will it be cancelled? No. So when we went for the loan was authorized. So the part for the town also, it's conditional like to the signing of the agreement. So we'll say like we will not get the money. So this amount will be removed. It was never allocated, so it was not allocated as long as so if we go like for a loan for the project, so they're considering that we want an extra for this. So no, it was like in it was waiting like it was pending. So that's why. All those in favor signify saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. One Councillor Cormier voted no. 11.3 report of the review for the council remuneration. Oh, sorry, landscape road signage along the highways. So this one here was, I know like there's a little budget in our package and there's also a draft. So it's following like a motion of the council to look at this. We wanted to know like what the costs. So it's being provided. So we have a little bit less than the $5,800 per assigned. So there are three, like two on Route 15 and one on Route 11. So these are the information that you wanted to get. Councillor Sylvie. So at this time, it would be it's great, like the price also is reasonable. $16,000 for the $18,000 for the three of them. So plus tax. So it's close like to 21,000 like for the three of them. And this money would be, we have them somewhere like from special projects, or so there's not the amount, but I still wanted to bring the amount because it's a discussion we had at the council. Either we put it for next year, so we see what we have the design, you push it to next year. So that 5,000 I can take like in my flower budget, but the rest would have to be found elsewhere. So there are two options. Either we find some money elsewhere, we put them in our budget for next year, and we go forward with them. So we're getting close to July, so we want to do something this year. Are we too late? So it's nice this year. You have to hire, they might be busy. So what their proposal, perennials that will stay there from year to year. So we'll start small. The effect will be the other year. So the price you have like it's from a landscaper. It's not the price we got from a provider like most of the suppliers like September, October up to we do it like. So my recommendation, but I still wanted to bring you like the design and the prices so we can budget for 2023. And if it's next year, well, so we can plan it in the budget. So if not, well, special funds from the council. So there are several expenses that within the budget, especially like for to improve like the room. Since we have 4 new council members. So what I will do, like, thanks for all your information. I'm mandating the administration. I move that we table this until our 2023 budget. So we have the information. This to give you a good estimate. So I'm tabling this until the budget discussion. Moved by Councillor Boutreau, seconded by Councillor Germaine Gana. 2 others with question, Councillor Patricia and then Councillor Peter. Thanks. So are these are only prices for this year, right? So next year we'll have to get another price. So these are for landscape. So we could get some prices like from landscape. Will it be higher or? Well, we could ask like for a review for the budget discussion and bring a specific number. So it's not the picture, the photo there is not the back of the sign, right? Councillor Peter, my question is for the town manager. So we discussed a lot the reform. So was there any comment? There could be some changes on our sign. Or will the sign stay exactly the same? No, there were no discussion yet. The name of the entity was decided, so this discussion will be done with the new council. Because it will be in January 2023. For now, like the people staying with the same name and so in case there are some changes, I think it would be good like to table this, because if there are some changes, like the transition committee is looking at the big picture of the detail of the signs and along the highway. I don't think it will be it will be up to the municipal entity. The new council really will be looking at this. Councillor Paul, Peter, also just the sign do not necessarily reflect like the geographic zone of the town. So even if the town is getting bigger because of the sign, no, there was no discussion because not yet. So the boundaries will be extended, but Councillor Peter, you seem to be confused. So you mean like the boundaries of the new entity will not be limited like to the signs? No, I think the welcome sign will not be changed. Like there will still be like the new structures are already, you have boundaries, Shediac Cape and yes. I have a motion to table it for the budget discussion in October. All those in favor saying aye, against nay, motion carried. Now it brings us, the next item is the report from the review committee is following a motion from the council. We mandated the citizen committee to review like the remuneration of the council in preparation for the municipal reform. So the committee submitted a report at the last meeting. and they use like the guide of the Association francophone de municipalités Nouveau-Brunswick developed in 2017. Many municipalities use this guide, and they made some recommendations. On this matter has been is dealt with the transition committees, the one making the final decision, regardless of what the municipality wants or does not want. So when there is a transition committee, so we had the opportunity to get some information. We can mention if we would like to present this, and the province in their reform, in the steps, it's one of the things they have to consider. Some municipalities, and this is information we can provide to the transition committee. They can use in their discussion. We can say we're in favor. We can say like not in favor. We can also adjust some comments, but it will be like the transition committee. The province of New Brunswick developed their own grid, which is inspired from this one. In part, they developed one, and then they developed another one. So I have a hard time to follow all of them, like with the municipal reform. But this one was, at least citizens gave their opinion that was based on scales developed by the Association francophone des municipalités. It's there for discussion. Councillor Paul. I'm as confused as Peter was. So for the reform, I did not understand well, or maybe I did not understand at all. So we saw it. We can analyze. So will it be the reform committee that will accept it? We can adopt it as a motion we want to bring to the transition committee. So it's information available that was looked at by a group, and it's not ourselves. So what I'm wondering, so what I have in front of me, I do not agree like with the numbers, especially the impact on the budget in 2023. So, and also like it's a per diem that was looking like. I recommend these are all recommendations. They did an excellent work, like this group, but it was my question. So I would like the councillor would sit together with the reform to see exactly what we want for the next 3 years of our term in terms of remuneration. Is it for in camera to have something to decide what we're going to do with this? So these are the questions that I would have, and Lynn, and to see what we can do. Like it's a thing for the per diem and the impact on the budget. It's the questions I did not process. So they were recommending like with the adjustment, like to stop the per diem and to cover some fees, like where we represent the municipalities elsewhere. Thank you. So these were my counsel. So what do we do with it? Do we bring it to the reform committee, or what do we do? That's what we could do. At least it's showing like what the committee of citizens from the town of Shediac did. So that's what we could do. I have 3 other members. Councillor Emile. Thank you, Mr. May. Are these on the remuneration, like are they recommendation on, or is it, if we make a recommendation, will it go somewhere? So it will be for discussion at the transition committee. So some transition committee, they did not do the exercise, and they met and they decided like a formula. I agree with the higher salaries from municipal officials. Like the only modification I would like to see, like it wouldn't be like a pay scale. It would start like when the 4 new like conditions will add. Everybody will be starting at the same time in January 2023 to be at the same level. This would be my recommendation. Thank you. So what the committee recommended, like an adjustment like for 2023, another one for 2024, not to do it all at once. So these were the Councillor Germain, Councillor Patricia, and I I kind of not agree. I don't think like the per diem should be gone. I said with Beaubassin, if you per diem, you end up doing nothing. You will be sitting at home with your salary. I do not believe in this, and I would like to sit and discuss. So before we give it to the committee, so they can decide like to give this salary raise. But at the end of the day, it's our budget. We should do sit with them. So when are you planning to give it to the committee? Meeting tomorrow. It's one of the items of the, I don't know if decision will be taken, but I think it should come from, I think we're going to, these members of the committee did not meet to discuss yet, so I think they should discuss. It should be a discussion time. Actually, we discuss before we bring it to the committee, so I think it's a lot, so. Councillor Patricio. I might agree, like, I think like the increases are steep compared to the salaries. We did not go further. We do not have really an idea like the reform with all like the others. So what is the case of anything we will have less? We will have committees probably will be losing some, but so might be able to do more. I don't to give it right away, like to. I don't think these are amounts I would like to start to discuss, but at the end of the day, it's the town's budget. If we wanted to keep it, like the transition committee will decide the same as we will decide the budget for the LSDs. So, so that we agree. Yes, so we will have a budget discussion, but we still have some constraint like that. This is my understanding. So it's not only us deciding. So we're saying like the transition committee is coming and saying like those amounts, these are the amounts with nothing we can do. I do not know, honestly. I do not. So that's why it's still unknown for me. It's our budget. So if they come up with an amount, so there's people from the LSDs, what's happening to the budgets, what's happening to our taxes. Everyone has questions, and we did not get any answers. Maybe more suggestion like to the committee to find the answers. And I think everybody's looking at the answers. We need a discussion with the transition committee level. So this discussion transition committee did not discuss its schedule tomorrow. So I don't know, have no clue. So in the province deadline, yes, the budget like for the remuneration, it was at the end of June. Yes. So these are the budget. So we needed that like to. That's why it's important like to bring the resolution this evening. So that's what I understood from the facilitator, because then the budget starts in July, and the salaries of the elected officials will be part of the budget. And the only thing, and all it's a tool available for the transition committee that they could use. And that's all it is. Like they have it or not, like the transition committee will have to decide, which is kind of weird. We will not have our say like on the salaries. Municipal reform, a lot of people could not say several things on various aspects. I see the implication is quite significant. I agree. For people who are very concerned with the tax, people outside, they're asking, I live in Skodok, I live in Chediak, how much will my increase? I have no idea whatsoever. It might stay the same. I don't know if it will increase or go or decrease. I don't have a crystal ball. So what's happening with the entity, like what's being proposed? It's really like it's an average. We're really on the average also. like the council elected official will be paid starting 2023. And I'm sending them too, like, and you're not, you're only the average, like. I know the municipality like Kapakadi and the mayor's salary will be 53,000 like in January. So that's what their transition committee decided. Yes, you have some catch up to do, like since 2005, like the last review was done. You only had, because in your procedural bylaw, like for remuneration for the elected official, it says you were following like the cost of living. So the same as the union had, I think it was 1, 2, 3% depending on the increase. It's always what we did follow, and we never catch up. So we'll have more information tomorrow after the meeting. So we'll do a special meeting if some things has to do some follow-up, just for the discussion. So we'll have more information later. Lynn, you see, it's a big increase, but in 2023, if we remove the per diem expense, you will have less on the scale. So it's not that high. The per diem, it's not a big increase. So it's additional amounts or of using other per diem. I will not use on my per diems. So to me, it would be an increase. You'll probably be using most of them. Yes, anyway. Good question. Councillor Peter. I have several questions. I agree that with the recommendation of the committee, I think the question for per diem is very important. I think so what will happen also at the council, but we have to think about the future council. So the councillors have to be involved in the community, and it's one way to do it, short term and long term. The other point we did not discuss, and which is quite important, I was one of them, like we needed like to go forward before the elections, because we'll have 25% at the council, and we'll have like 4 new individuals that will be with us, and we know like the first year it will determine how it will happen during the next year. So I think it's really important like to have people of quality, great people, like in it. Skodok River, Shediac Cape, sorry, Pointe du Chêne, and in order to make sure like we start on the right foot. And the remuneration also will be an issue for. Remuneration will be divided over 4 years. Will encourage the best applicants. I'm not sure. Like I want to make sure like we do have the best applicants as possible, because it will not be easy. Like the role of the council over the 4 years will not be the same. So to deal with 4 new entities, other individuals, we want to make sure we attract the right individuals. So it's really like I would like maybe to have a meeting to discuss it and see what type of recommendations we could make. I think we should not miss the boat, because if we start like we have to start on the right foot. Thank you, Councillor Peter. Councillor Poy. Just to NOC. It will not be unanimous when to discuss for this budget with other people. You would forget like the 4 new that will be coming in, they're not paid. And all of a sudden they'll have they see the salary. So the money has to come from somewhere. So it will come out of their budget. Pointe du Chêne. It might be a shock for them. So they need this, so they have to answer to the population. So if they see their numbers, well, I'm eager to see their reaction, to see like, because right now it's 0. you're right, like it could, that the electoral system would recruit the good candidates, but the money will come from them. So we'll have so that's what I want to see the reaction of the 4 others, like 8 others, like 2 representatives from group, just to inform this, like. So we'll have some interesting discussion. We had some. Thank you. So the committee has a chance to present it, to discuss. Requests for financial assistance, so we got several of them, like it comes once in a while, so depending, so we decided, like, did you ask? Okay. So there were several of them, so we said we wanted to group them, like, for June, to consider all of them, so we'll not consider one, like, every meeting, so maybe one, all of them together, so I think maybe one that was more urgent, we decided to approve. I don't remember which one, but we have 5. One for the Moncton Hospital, Oceans U Addiction, Dialogue NB. The other one, Naomi and Roots Rehab Center and Wellness Center. And for the LED sign for Luigi Rabicho School, which was a bigger request. I don't want to process each individually. We need a motion for each of them. So we'll go one. Moncton Hospital, Councillor Janice. Thank you. Can I make the motion? It has a vote for each. So I move, like the Moncton Hospital, that we deny the request because we were asked after, like, the budget discussion, and I would like the town would send a letter to say that we're denying the request and that they will send a request before the budget discussion for next year. So we can add it to our discussion. Moved by Councillor Janice Cormier, seconded by Emile O'Brien. Questions on the motion? Councillor Patricio. Did we give a donation to the Moncton Hospital? We did some in the past, but not on a regular basis. Put 0. So how much money do we have left for the donations? For organization? All the budget has been given. So it would be the discretionary budget. Motion to deny and to invite them to submit for the 2020. All those in favor, saying aye. Against, nay. 1 nay. Councillor Patricia. Carried. Councillor Janice, you had a second motion. I can do all the motion. For ocean addiction treatment and recovery to deny, to send a letter and ask to if they still want to submit a request to do it before our budget discussion for 2023. Moved by Councillor Janice Cormier, seconded by Councillor Sylvie Colette-Boudreau. Questions on the motion? Councillor Patricia. The center is not open yet, so thank you. All those in favor, saying aye. Against, nay. Motion carried. The financial request for Dialogue NB. It was for a program, virtual public dialogues. No motion. We will eliminate that one. Moved by Councillor Sylvie. In this case, like the request, it dates from January 2022, so it's possible. Like, I doubt like they don't need it, it's still possible, like they did it already, but because of that, I moved that we do not accept this request. So invite them, like to submit their request before the budget discussion. Moved by Councilor Sylvie Colette Boudreau, seconded by Councilor Emile O'Brien. Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Against, name. Motion carried. The next one for the Naomi and Ruth Rehab Center, Councilor Janice. I moved that same thing, now we wrote that we denied the request because it was done last year. We send the letter like we denied the request and that the request to reapply again before the budget discussion for 2023. Moved by Councilor Janice Cormier, seconded by Emile O'Brien. Question on the motion, Councilor Paul, is it possible, when we said the request to see all the accreditation, especially for health and the credential, mental health, do they have any credentials or are they? Do they get credentials for the province, the Brunswick? I know they have a charitable number, but to make sure the money, yeah, that's certainly included. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Against, nay. Motion carried. The next one is for the LJR School for the LED sign. They were looking for partnership for $15,000. Councilor Peter. And didn't we that we become a partner with LJR School? We did some donations for the bus and which I think it's a good project. It's right in the heart of the municipality, so I don't know if it'd be possible maybe to get a contribution over 3 years. I think it's really important, we know the LJR School, it's not in a good state and would like some stuff to do, but to have a good sign might help, a good image. And then we could use also use the sign also, of course, in the summer. Well, I think we should really think to support this initiative. And I would like to see if we could do it maybe on a 3-year period. $5,000 per year. Thanks, Councilor Peter. Councilor Germain. I could seconded, but I just wanted to know, if we could get some information, how much they fundraise, October 2021. So where it's, how much money they got and maybe they already paid the sign. Maybe they have 10,000, they might have 15,000, so we should get some information. And nobody, you're moving this, but to change a motion, maybe to get some information first, and maybe to go back to the council and maybe so maybe by Councilor seconded by Councilor Germain Garand to put it for a next meeting to get some information. And then we could go back with to the same scope. All those in favor signify saying aye. Against, nay. Motion carried. Number 12, intro to new business 12.1. Omarus visit, July 14, 2022. Yes, you had in my report Friday and mentioned there would be a possibility to visit Omarus. I think it would be important we judge like the council would be important, like before it opens July 17th, so we had thought maybe like, with the Omaris group to do like a visit with the council members, so we'd be able to kill two birds with one stone, like to do like maybe just a happy hour or something, and maybe we could take the picture of the council members that are present. And it would be for July 14 is on a Thursday night, falls on a Thursday night. Okay, on a Thursday night. So we should make sure like everyone could be there, so we would be able to. We would take a professional picture of. So it would be the picture of the council members. If the council agree, well, we would have like maybe some little snacks and it would be a meeting. So what we would do like to invite the spouses, is it something you want to do or only the council member? Well, yes. So I confirmed with Giselle that is going forward. Perfect. Yes, and we will have a photograph. So 3 new items, like for new business, we access to water. Councillor Paul. Yes, I would like to share with you a file, as everyone knows, like a very emotional file, also a very hot file, and I would like also to do a brief report of the discussion with the Commission of Active Transportation and do a motion. I'm the chair of the TOOS committee. First, I would like to thank the committee members for their expertise and feedback. They were very respectful, Mayor, Councillor Bois, and also the members of the fire department and the RCMP members, our executive director, and our Marc Denis and Melissa and Luc. All the other council members provided also their input before. The members of the committee met last week, and in a nutshell, they discussed 3 things. A, the report of Northland Design, like for the possible location. 2, the challenges and possible solutions that were mentioned of the Northland Design report. C, discussion of various options for various locations for water, access to water. A, Northland Design report identified 5 possible locations, and you are aware of the fact all the locations had different challenges, such as accessibility, water level, the wetlands. This being said, the committee members had a consensus to focus on the Skoduk River or the Skoduk River watershed. So the challenges of the location, like the Riverside Drive, according to the report, were discussed, and also the possible solution were discussed for a very long time. So the concerns are mostly like the safer user, parking, road safety, and also the services to be either for C. The other location option were discussed, such as the ex-community of Cornwall, to integrate to Four Seasons Park, and the west side to access Route 134 schedule to make this file go forward. And to give like the town to a safe access to water, I propose the following solution: that the staff be mandated to identify a firm and the associate cast to do the 2 following tasks. 1, to identify the challenges associated with the Riverside Drive, and to identify possible solution, including costs. Discuss solution. Discuss in the meeting would have the parking spaces to modify services will be forwarded to the people responsible. Site plan, I think Mark referred, site plan should be part of the report. The other one, to identify also like the Skoduk River challenger solution. I would like to focus on one, also the location for Riverside because I have no term also for this one. To conclude, the cost for this study be forwarded as quickly as possible to municipal council, and that the council look immediately on the decision. In other words, like from this evening, the administration could find like a firm to prepare some plans, safe plans, like for water access. I would recommend like a special meeting to be asked so a decision can be taken to make the file go forward. That's all. If you have any question around the table, I second your motion. moved by Councillor Paul Boudreau, seconded by Councillor Germaine Galland. I know this motion was very long. Questions or no? It was straightforward, Councillor Aimé. I just wanted to add, 3 times I've been hearing like the motion, because the more I hear it, the more it makes sense. It's just like the Northern studies, like they had 5 possible scenarios. Each of those scenarios had their own challenges. So the plan chose by Councillor Boudreau, it has their own challenges like anyone else, but the thing is, it's meeting all the expectation, like for kayak and canoe and also for small boats like dories and all. The sea-doo, jet ski, so it meets all of those needs. And what's important, again, the firefighters could use it, so they would have access. So you can launch a boat there, so do rescue on the river if needed, and especially like the last one is very important. So the plan, Councillor Boudreau, is perfect and of what we want to do, and I hope it will work. Thank you, Councillor Patricio. I agree with the motion from Mr. Boudreau, but if it's another motion, we had a presentation, we talk about land title. It's not information, I'm not too aware of this information, I'm not too familiar with this. So we're mentioning we see to do something there, but could we check if the land belongs to Mr. Pellerin? Every time we get to the council, it's a family fight. So we're 3 councillors. We were invited to attend the information. It's not a family fight. Like it's not necessarily like the Pellerin family. Something from our citizens. Like they want to have access to water, and from what we're hearing, it seems to be the best spot. So maybe this land, does it belong to Mr. Pellerin? We do not know. It's not up to us to check, but I think it's important like that we do check. If the land really belongs to Mr. Pellerin, well, and once and for all, we'll know. And if it belongs to Mr. Pellerin, I don't know if we can open the discussion with Mr. Pellerin to know if he's ready to do something or not. I don't know if something I have to add. It's not something that's going to the. I'm ready to do a motion after that he moved to get like a location, but maybe not necessarily there. It could be like also like a location on Riverside Drive. Councillor Boudreau, correct me if I'm wrong, but. So your motion is mentioning mandate the administration to return the services of a consultant that could check, verify those things. So in a nutshell, I do not have all your text. I wanted to know what you wanted to add. So. Yes, sir. So the motion, I just want to do it like in orderly fashion. We're talking on one subject. I want to discuss one subject at a time. It should help. But I want to make sure we're talking about Paul's proposal, either on Riverside proposal, which is not necessarily like besides Mr. Pellerin's line, like the study, it's not necessarily there, so I'm not explaining myself properly, I think, eh? It's just to confuse, like, I put, like, we, yes, approve the motion, and it's only, like, only for this land with the other options given. Mr. Boudreau, could you repeat your motion, at least the main things, like, because it will be voting on this. I understand you have a question and it's not on this. I move that the following, that the staff be mandated to identify like a firm to do the two following steps. One, to identify the challenges associated with the Riverside of R. It's what you're referring, Patricia. So the location was adjacent to what's existing now. So if for a solution that is legal, I completely agree. But the motion here was for the infrastructure, like to be safe, including like the waterfront, the street, or the Webster Street, the location like at the bottom of Riverside Drive, to identify possible solution, including the cost. The solution discussed from a crosswalk and washroom and be forwarded to people. A site plan should be part of the report. To the site plan. Identify other sites also, including like the challenges, the cost. This is my motion. Moved by Councillor Paul, seconded by Councillor Germaine. Other question? No, you said you understood. Councillor Emile, it's a question. It's more like an emotion also. Like I would ask like to answer after there is a motion on the table. All those in favor signify saying aye, against nay. Question. Oh, you had a question. What's the other sites? So the company we're hiring is really to look at Riverside to see like if there are other like places, or we could do something, or we're looking at the section and and we will look further to see are there any better sites. So there are other like listen. By others, we're not only limited to one. So thank you. All those in favor saying aye, against nay, motion carried. Councillor Patricia. I just want to make a motion. So I would like for the council like to mandate be a consultant just to check to see if they could for this land, also for the land titles, and if it belongs to him or not, or so it's all the information we got this evening, and it's not in my field of expertise. So just to know who that land belonged to, and to see, and if yes, well, maybe we could do something. If the land belongs to him, it belongs to him. And to open the discussion, well, Councillor Patricia, I'm under the impression it's a legal question, so would be probably a lawyer that could advise us if everything was done right, and if the land really belongs to him. Well, if it's only the title, or by Councillor Patricia, seconded by Councillor Germaine. Raise her hand before she raised her hand before. Questions on this motion? Councillor Emile. I did assert exactly what you're asking. So this land, does it belong to Mr. Pellerin? If you go through Service New Brunswick and Planet, Mark would have, it's clear. Yes, there's a PID number, and each of the sites there's a PID number, and it belongs to Danny and Lisette Pellerin. We see all like the transaction that were done. It says like I will see a lawyer. We get all those information. If you understand what Mr. Douard understand, but I did not understand. According to him, it does not belong to him. So the council would like to get some information, some research. If the land belongs to him, but that's what it will be. Councillor Germaine, I totally agree. Like you have to see a lawyer, something, where it came out, what was done. to make sure everything was done legally, because they will come with legal, nothing to hide. We want to get some information to understand well. Moved by Councillor Patricia, seconded by all those in favor saying aye. Against, nay. Motion carried. 12.3 Skateboard Park, Councillor Paul. Yes, once again was brought to our attention, and we discussed this matter during a protection committee. It was incident that the skateboard. So our RCMP was representative. Various solution were discussed, and the one proposed by me. I move that to mandate the administration to hire on a temporary basis one or two security officer, and to develop like a monitoring strategy to help with policing efforts. So the funds could come from, there's an account like for youth, 27130. There's an amount of $3,000 on this amount to see like to get this money, and so we could act immediately with that without getting in other funds. That's what I'm proposing. Moved by Councillor Paul, seconded by Councillor Emile. I have a question, Denis. Lynn, this fund like is for what? Like there was like a committee like for a youth committee, but it was nothing necessarily in that fund yet. But usually it goes for youth activities, like the skate park would be one of them. Like so, but nothing was planned, so so it was not already like committed, right? It's just to make sure, like to make the files go forward. I just wanted to make sure, like to take money when there was none left. So yes, thanks for the clarification. Questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor saying aye. Against, the motion carried. Perfect. 12.4 Fire Department, Councillor O'Brien. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, this evening I would like to confirm with certainty, like the town of Shediac absolutely need to do some work, including to renovate and embellish also the fire department. The fire department needs to have a capacity to have a HR committee, a boat, and any like other equipment. The firefighter needs to do their work. So for this reason, I'm doing the motion that the protection committee mandates the administration and the town of Shediac to proceed to retain the services of an architect for the estimate, and to present a draft to extend, renovate, and embellish the existing fire station. Moved by Councillor. The connection cannot give a mandate. It's the council, like the protection committee, like do some recommendations. So we have to so do I have to change it? Well, yes, the protection committee cannot mandate like the. As a councillor, Emile O'Brien, we can mandate the administration of the town of Shediac to proceed to retain the services of an architect to get some estimates, some quotes, like to renovate, extend, and embellish existing fire station. This is clear. Moved by Councillor Emile O'Brien, seconded by Councillor Paul Boutreau. Questions on the motion, Councillor Patricia? I know, like you met, do we have anything, something we need, or it might meet our need, but we've been discussing, we want a study, but we don't have a study anyway. I'm not saying I'm against, but we have a report we want to see, and all of a sudden we set it aside, and so the fire chief is with us. I would like to invite him and remind you again the reason why we need like to have this fire station, the equipment. Good evening, Danal. We know like the town developed really quickly like over the last couple of years. We have to adapt to this. And a lot of things, there are changes, a lot. And one of the major thing, like the biggest change, we did a study like for the cancer with fire factor. We have, we have, we have. We have a lot of cancer. We found 10 cancers like it was found in fire factors that were cause of the work they do. They have the bunker suit, like the suits like we use like when we go in fire. So they decided, it's a province, they decided that it was one of the big problem, like you need almost like a room just to store those suits and they would not get dressed as the same spot as the trucks. And it's not with those suits, so we have to put them in a separate room. So it will purify like the air and it will kill all the bacteria. So they have filters and all that. So new trucks that came out today, like new trucks, they do have those filters in trucks. So when we get into a new truck, not the old trucks we have now, except for then they do have those filters and it clears the air and it protects our firefighter. So we have 45 or 43 firefighters. They go on calls every day. If we cannot protect our firefighters by giving like their own room, like those 2 rooms, we cannot protect like the town citizen. We have to protect our firefighters first. It's normal. It's something that's normal. We have to protect and once the firefighters are protected, then we can protect like the town's citizen. We're talking about the latter. We got like a call last night. Yeah, someone called it. It was a 3-story apartment building. Nothing happened. We're lucky. We're lucky, like we have professional firefighters. They're so quick. And when like the second time, like we can catch like the fire because it spread further. We will not be always that fortunate. And to protect people who are there, like they were all evacuated, like people in the building. We need individuals. We need firefighters who knew what they do. We have them in Shediac, and we have one firefighter. Our fire station has the one with most volunteers in the province, the biggest one also. Not only volunteer firefighters, we have one of the best volunteer firefighters. So these guys work really hard, and I have a hard time to say to those guys we will not protect them. I cannot tell them we will not protect them. It's just as a chief and councillor make sure we protect those firefighters, like, and if they get cancer because we did not do any actions. It's something new that came out, was approved, some studies were done. It came out. We will act on this or just let it go. I will not let it go, like, and these are our firefighters. They work volunteer for us. They're risking their life. They're risking their life. So it could be a car accident, just a car coming up and it hits them. So they hit them at the back of the truck. If we do not act, we will be responsible. We cannot take a decision and saying now we will wait like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So when we need today, the province is telling us, like the SPA is telling us, we need those, at least to have those 2 rooms to start. we need one because it's like we counted 31, like only in Shediac. 31 buildings where we need some scale. These are not commercial buildings. I'm not talking about stores. 31, the city, like we did not have 31 before, but now
6, 7 qui vont à tous les années plus, 8. Faut ce que le point qu'on va dire, OK, madame, acheteur, là, faut que je prenne l'échelle. C'est pas même une question. C'est pas une question par choix.
it's not a question for everyone.
Je peux le dire. Vous devez fier sur le chef. Ça n'a pas de différence si c'est moi qui est le chef ou c'est un Moncton ou un Dieppe.
Either like it's in Moncton, yeah, but the report, when they do their report, usually they're not questioned. Moncton was questioned not too long ago.
À la place de 3 échecs, ça en prend 5 acheteurs.
Instead of 3, you need 5.
So, qu'est-ce qu'on fait ici? C'est qu'est-ce qu'on dit? Moi, je ne peux pas avoir 45 pompiers ici.
I cannot see having 45 firefighter and meet with them and
La ville m'a décidé que dans on va espérer pour le show.
we'll wait. It's not something we can wait for. And it's something that's dangerous, and it was proven. Some studies were done. What do we do now? And I'm fed up, like, to be questioned to something like, we discuss it, we discuss with the committee, and
De faire dire,
to see like it's as if, like we feel like the fire station felt like the work you're doing is not worth everything, and I'm telling. It's what the point was. I'm trying also to convince. No, it's not something. It's not what they want. Like I was able like to get back on this, but for a while, like we had a hard time to getting guys to do. Like I'm trying to say, like they are there, like for the well-being of the firefighters. We're there, like to make sure, like the firefighters are not sick in 10 years from now, like to protect them. And I still believe up to this day it's one of the major things like we have to protect. Because they protect us every day, they're risking their life every time call we have, so they're taking some call, and it's not a risk like regardless they're on top of the 2 days building, like regardless of what they have, like the roof are out of steel. Like can you say we will clean like that chimney on the steel roof, like it will fall, like the materials is everything changes. So we have to evaluate with them. We do not have the choice. In my opinion, well, that's where we're at. Like, and so when it comes to all the cases, what they're saying, like the report, I know, like some firefighters. They got some, they got cancer. Is it because they were working for us, or? I cannot say. I'm not a doctor, but chances are good. Like two in the same family. Well, it cannot happen just together. This is my opinion. So this is the opinion. This is my opinion. So thanks for the information. I understand, like, if someone has it hard to say, I still have two, like, two in my family that did bring the study, because I was against, like, I think, is it what to do, like, two, if we need, like, 2 rooms, if we have future needs, something, yes, we will go ahead. The study is done, like, the study was done in 89, so. And the study done 889 should be even worse, like in 2023. So it's maybe what we need to do, like it's for the future. It may be to upgrade the study or update the study. There's no study that will, like the town needs, they will recommend us, we are doing. So we recommend that. There's no study that will say that's what you need. And seeing what the fire department needs, so they rely on the chief. So it's 99.9%. That's where the information is coming. So when the information, So they rely on so 99% they're not questioned. So I've been in the fire department for 40 years. It's not. I'm not doubting your recommendations and skills. It's not it. Like just we have how many 2 millions? That was only for the fire station. So did we have those discussions? So the projects we could discuss this. So I have 4 other person who has to talk. Yeah, it's 9:30, so I will ask to be very quick. That's the only thing I can do. It's not to have it. The recommendation you bring, because it's just launched with nothing else, and to look at because Sylvie took off document. I think it's too fast. It's not because I'm against. The need is not there. It's not. We have to look what we are removing. To see what you want to remove, which tree to remove, what you want, which piece of equipment. Before that, our budgets are all planned. We have to know where we take the money to pay for. I understand. Just not only to say yes, and you have no idea of how many expenses, where we take this money. I didn't know, like, I have 2 firefighters in my family, and their health is dear to my heart. Councillor Sylvie, to add what Patricia, we have money in the budget, in the 5-year plan, so I think we'll continue to discuss, so maybe we could report it, like, just to tell you, so the 5-year plan indicated, like, expansion, study of needs to be completed by 2022. So it's a discussion of the study. We do not have it yet. So I appreciate what you are saying as parking fire truck, which has to be replaced. It's an older one. So if you look in the report I did, well, so the truck coming up, like 825,000 at least with the price. Probably 825,000. So what I propose is to have an extra truck. I did not ask for equipment. Yes, it's equipment, but to do something. But the truck will not be replaced. So we still have like 3 trucks. So the one that was supposed to replace is not being replaced. It's doing the same job. So it will do. We're not replacing it, but if turn around and you buy the truck, 850,000. If you buy it, and you decide in 3 years or 2 years from now, that will add like how much do you think you will have? It's new or not? Like you'll have nothing for it. We will invest in a truck for 850,000 instead of investing 1.5, and that's exactly what because with what you told us, like if everything told us, like we could make an informed decision, because if you could do an action in 2023, do an action. But I think the story to the study, like motion, I appreciate what you just said, Councillor O'Brien, but blind motion is not probably the best thing for, it doesn't mean like it wouldn't be done. Maybe it will start a long discussion as tonight. So that's all I. Janice, Paul, and you, and I think that's in this order. So it's just in a time interest. So and it reasonable about, because it's been like, as we mentioned, we've been discussing it for a very long time. I cannot hear the comment. To explain why. Not asking Councillor. Yeah. There's a study that was done 25 years ago for the fire department, and it was 3 for fire chief. It wasn't when I was there. At the time, they recommended the ladder, an extension on the fire hall, 25 years ago. So the study, so the members of this council did not see it. So if we do another study, it will take like probably another 2 years at least. It will take minimum. So the motion of they're asking will just retain the services of an architect to get some quotes and to prepare a draft of the new fire hall. That's it. That's all. We're not asking to make any major expenses. It might be another expense. It's not what I'm saying at all. Thanks for your comment. No, so we want to go forward. I apologize, but we want to go forward. It's not that I do not like you, but Councillor Paul, Councillor Janice. I think what Emile is proposing for the committee, in respect also like Donald's expertise, is the beginning of the process to eventually have a new fire hall, like is to get the expertise, like because you mentioned earlier, like we wanted to make sure it's legal. So we what Emily's proposal, like so when we built the town hall, we started with a sketch, we started with a proposal. So that's why I'm still supporting Emily's motion. But this one for the fire factor wasn't is to embellish like the fire hall. I think it's been an eyesore for 40 years old. Like it's really ugly, and I think it's a shame for the building if we can kill two birds with one, like with an extension and to improve it. Well, I would be proud for our municipal installations. I continue to support like the Councillor Emile's motion. It's flexible, like you see, like when money's coming in or out, like for fire, like for the fire station, as Sylvie mentioned, 2024, like long term, like if the financial situation is good. So I will stop. Thank you, click, okay. Councillor Janice, she's the last one. Thank you, Fire Chief. I totally agree. It's urgent. We have to start. But before we pay like to do some study, I think like the council need like a special meeting only on this file with the fire chief, with his assistant, so we can ask our questions and get some clarification, because I do not want to have a sketch and we see like we need something else, as Mrs. Chevary said, like and also we're talking also the improvement. I would rather put like money on equipment than improvement for the safety. Yes, we could add like the embellishment, but it's not the nicest building that will be saving our citizens. It's what's inside the building. So really, I think we should have a meeting just for the fire station and ask the question to see the budget, so we can take public decision. That's all I had to say. Yes, Donald. There's one other thing we can say. So the guys' protection, we have trucks, like between trucks, it's crowded, it's very small. And I can say also one thing that happened that could hurt someone. One of them, like a 3/4 ton, and one of the trucks just went off, number 7. And when the guy who was in the 3/4 ton was in his truck, and the door was just taken off, it's something that's happening. We want to make sure it does not happen again. And So when we wash the trucks, like so every time, so no one has there. So what's happening with this? So just getting in and out from there. Well, so someone just said that the door was removed halfway. So something will happen. It will not happen if we had someone where the trucks, where they wash the trucks, if it's only dedicated for washing trucks. So it's not your fault. It was there for a very long time. So when this fire hall was built, like the firefighters did not have like their word to say. So I do not disagree. I just want to get more information. Yes, okay. Councillor Janice, I'm just asking you a question because you're saying like you want to table this. Is it your intention to table this again? That we table it to our next meeting? I do want to table it. That's all. I would like to move that we have a meeting specifically on the fire station, so we can have discussion with the fire chief. I understand like Emile and Mr. Boudreau, they're part of the committee, but because it's a collective decision we need to take, I think really we need like to ask our questions so we can go forward. I agree we should go forward with this project, but there's a lot of information missing and nobody answered this information. I would say like that's not what I want. Because you gave several examples, I was not aware. So we need like a more classification and need more information so we can take an informed decision. That's what I think. So I have a motion to table or maybe postpone it like for an next meeting. It will be dedicated for this meeting. When there's a motion to table, it's to table the motion that was presented. We already did it. So when there is a motion at table, and someone is moving to table this motion, we vote if the motion. I'm just trying to say it like if someone is moving to table it for a next meeting, it would be at another date essentially. We will vote on this motion if it's seconded. If it's not, it's September as soon as possible. Councillor to postpone the discussion for another meeting, not necessarily a regular meeting, but a special meeting. And if someone would like to second this one. Seconded by Councillor Sylvie Colette Boudreau. Question for table, because on the main motion, it's come from the Code Morin. All those in favor to table, to postpone it to another meeting, not the next regular meeting, not the one for August. Question. I'm against also like for that motion. You'll vote against. For the simple reason like the study was already done with the fire chief. They know like the needs and I don't think even we have another meeting, it will change our opinions. Like we're all confident in his skills. I don't think like we should be waiting. So I will be voting against this motion because I would like for the motion to pass. Thank you. Question on the tabling the motion. Councillor Patricia. Might be a suggestion to do. Question to table it for our next meeting. We will have soon. All those in favor signify saying aye. Against nay. 4 nays. I heard 4. 3 nays. A motion to table this. Who voted yes? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 voted like to table it. So the motion is been carried. Councillor O'Brien, to have a vote is tabled for next meeting. Thanks for the discussion. I have 2 other persons who would like to talk. I had Patricia with you before. Me, it's just to. It was like a shock. All of a sudden, it was there, and but I heard a lot of examples, like some lives are in danger. We're not aware of this. So each meeting, it's not information we are privy to. We got all the calls that were answered, but those incidents should be reported. Should be reported to the administration because we come here, everything seems to be fine and dandy. We can recruit easily, and all of a sudden, like this just came out lately, but these things you should be reported like to the administration because we're not aware of this. So maybe that's why this file is urgent. But if we don't know, nobody told us, someone could have hurt themselves. So maybe it would. So the only thing I will say, like in very this and with the former subject, we want to get information so we are able to make an informed decision. I will not say it's bad, it's not to punish anyone. And can we take a decision where we make it during the meeting for this one here? No, we will not discuss another hour like it. We don't need a motion to decide like a day. Do we take a decision? Is yet this week or it has to be sooner than later? You have to sit with the members, and it's not done next month. Thinking when you have time so we can have a meeting with the fire hall, and our schedule is good for Monday evenings. Next Monday, you're okay? So the deputy mayor should be able. It's not to make. It's an information meeting with our fire department. We'll do it at the fire hall. So you have enough space to accommodate us? So it would be good. He's asking if they have air conditioning at the fire station. Councillor Janice. After this meeting, we'll probably have it like a special meeting to go with Mr. O'Brien's motion. So at least we will be more comfortable and we'll able to do. But I promise. Close the debate for this evening. So 12.4. 13. Request for information from the council members. And I'm asking to do it quicker than slower. So when the time comes to award a contract for the Centennial Drive that goes to Seaman Street, so the decision to add a sidewalk or a bicycle trail south northeast toward the sea, is it a decision we can have between us or a consultation we can have? Because I have some resident who call me, as was suggested, and they did not agree with the discussion with other individuals, maybe instead of a sidewalk, because you want a sidewalk on this side of the road. There will be a public audience, a public presentation to the citizen. Some callers, so it's the one so when we have the information for them, and we discuss it today with a consultant, and it's something that will be done with the citizens. So they will be invited to the multi-purpose center once we have the plans, because right now the plans are 50% done. So soon as we have the plans at 95%, we'll do a public consultation. So it was to know if the agreement was going ahead with the marina or not. So we'll proceed. So the end of Pleasant Street. So there will be a public consultation. Exactly what I wanted to hear. The other question, and I have citizen who called me today because all the traffic along the Chesley, because the street is closed, like the work administration, and maybe it might not be possible. Like how would you complicate it to remove like the four-way at the top of the Chesley and Webster? I think it's quite complicated. I said I would bring it to the council just to see if there was any appetite. But probably too complicated to remove it. It's too dangerous. Like, it wouldn't be a recommendation. I could not take the decision to implement all this detour. Several individuals also they work externally. Like I would not recommend to remove the four-way stops. So I wanted to bring this because like the traffic was backed up, but it will happen. I mean, it's part of the game with the construction. Councillor Janice, I will be quick, Mr. May. Citizen called me concerning Harper Street, who is connecting to Sackville Street. So where the location of the CNR Warbest or the gym? He mentioned like for several years, like we had trucks, like construction trucks, like parking there, and they feel this it's becoming a construction site. Do we know who to whom it land belong? I never got any complaint. I'm not aware. First I'm hearing from this, so it's because with all like the commotion of people using Harper, they're not stopping like at Harper Street. So could I mandate maybe the administration to go further who it belongs to, and maybe if it's legit, like we always have like construction. Right now, like the site, it's a site for construction. It's right beside. It's on the McQueen Street, so I can imagine like the two probably had an agreement to they have access like for space to park. A lot of near miss were accidents, especially like people. So there are more cars like taking Harper Street like on Main Street. So I would just want to check for them. We'll see like if the zoning allows it or not. Councillor Patricia. You'll be back there once the Riverside Drive will be done. There are some potholes. We'd have to make sure they're patched. Because when we did our patching, someone said, so between the two of them, I did not check. I said, I will say that take a drive. You will have to walk between the two where it's closed. Apparently, there are some potholes to use the tonnage that was approved. But the rest of our operation, we can do some patching and so, yeah. So I don't know, Mr. Bello, if something you would like to take note of this. There's already a list like of street, so maybe it's part of the list. So it's not something that will be addressed. So the street is closed anyway. So they cut the street about in two spots. So for the resident on Christian Street, so we're working with the lawyers and when we will sign those. So for the confirmation, so they're preparing a contract and they will do the signature for all of them. So will it be done by the end of the summer? Because the citizen, by the end of July, like people, everyone should have received some letters. Councillor Paul, for the material of Scodoc River, like the province said, was the province notified? Like I think I have a meeting that was supposed to be sent to the minister. It should be finalized. Was there a follow-up? Did you go see was there any confirmation of that letter? Could we do a follow-up on this one? It's really a letter we will be sending to the minister. Thank you. The other one is, yeah, so for the water part, is it going forward or? It's a project that was quite complicated, so it was able, and we're trying also to fix this, but we had no success. And see if we could get a more sturdy roof. So we're looking at other options. Eventually, that's something we would like to bring to the 2023 budget. So this structure is a lot of challenges. So thank you. So we look at, thank you, Marcos. I would like to thank, there's a lot of files. Thank you very much, Gilles, and everything that's coming up. Another thing for Denis, Anne, and so the grant we got from the 125,000. Can you explain quickly what we wanted to go with the 125,000 infrastructure program? So we cannot invest in infrastructure. So these are for program. Quickly, it's really like to add extra to the program. So some money was given to the Shediac market. Some money was given to the Lobster Festival. So some money will go also like for August 15, and we'll propose some activities like at the downtown park. It's really to add like for activities downtown Shediac. So we receive 125,000 for this project. So it's for a program. So the very last one, I don't know if we can add it. I would like to add it. We have athletes going to the summer games at Niagara Falls this summer. We did it a long day, like for the winter games. I would like we could recognize them like one of our events. If it's New Brunswick Day, bring them on the stage. I know one like with swimming. Is the only one from Shediac. I think it would be good like to have some uniforms and to recognize them. Like I was looking maybe like a New Brunswick Day. I don't know if you could do any research, if you have any athletes from New Brunswick, from Shediac, I mean, who participated for 2022 game. It would be great, like, to move this, to add this to the programs, or to thank them. And I think the last I remember, and I think it was in 2019, these were for the winter games. So Dominique Leblanc was, no, the one, it was the hockey player. He ended up playing with the Wildcats. He went to the Canada Games, and we gave him a certificate for the New Brunswick Day. Something like that. So I saw like for New Brunswick Day. That was it. Thank you, Councillor Paul. So, the bylaw reading of presentation about motions and resolution 15.1. Councillor Emile, if you can read it, please. These are the distribution, like for the amount, for the distribution of amounts according to the general commercial incentive policy. Whereas according to policy 12-09, the following businesses are eligible to receive a payment under the commercial incentive policy in 2022. Therefore, be it resolved that the town of Shediac agrees to reimburse the following businesses under the commercial development incentive: Choice Properties, fourth installment, $34,693.33 plus HST. GY Enterprises Inc., first installment, $10,868.34 plus HST. And the company number 715422 NB Inc., first installment, $8,760.46 plus HST. I shall move. Moved by Councillor Emile O'Brien, seconded by Councillor Paul Boudreau. Questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Against, nay. Motion carried. Next item, Councillor Patricia. crossing guard, the MFB school, be it resolved that the services of Mr. Boris Boudreau be returned as crossing guard for the 2022-2023 school year, that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign the agreement, and that the remuneration for providing this service be set at $888 per month from September to December 2022, and $906 per month from January to June 2023. I shall move by Councilor Bourque Chevary, seconded by Councilor Sylvie Colette Boudreau. Question, Councilor Emile. Are we able to give a raise to this guy? Last year, the 880 from September, we increased it like to $16 per month in January. What is the pay scale? Because it's a resolution we have every year. Like, it's a 5% per year, so it's still doing an important job. I was just asking the question, like, we're giving a raise every year, so it will go to $888 to $906. It's the same like as the agreement, collective agreement, increasing maybe by $1,000 per month. We could show like we appreciate him, like it's the same guy since I've been a council member. He's been there for at least 10 years. I have a motion moved by Councilor Patricia, second, to increase and $9.06. Councilor Emile is proposing to increase it to $1,000 even. Is it something that would accept like a friendly amendment? To agree, like to amend like the solution to reflect $1,000 for the year. Would it be for 2023 or no? Would be 1,000 for starting 2023? Yes. Okay. 188 from September to December for 20. This was being budget, so instead of 906, we'll increase it to $1,000. All those in favor say aye. Against nay. Carried. Feasibility study 15.3. Feasibility study infrastructure. Councilor Janice. Thank you. Feasibility study infrastructure. That the City Council withdraw its motion made on August 30th, 2021 at a regular council meeting approving a contribution of $5,639 to Source Alliance, Inc. towards a feasibility study for the Beauséjour Recreation and Tourism Hub, an intergenerational project for the community. That the City Council mandate the municipal administration to assess the needs of the community in a major recreation structure, including like the replacement of the festival. I shall move, Mr. Mayor. Move by Councilor Sylvie Colette Boudreau. I think I did not turn off your mic. So we were mandating the administration like to do some to assess the needs. Is it only like people talking to have like some kind of a trail, something? Is it all the projects, like to have a committee maybe? We're talking about assessing the, to give some project like including like the replacement of the, so it includes like the arena, but it's for something else too. So it's the other things. So the administration, are they able like to meet like the wants of the population? So there would be some consultation to be done. So you will consult the population, and that's what we had like at the last plenary meeting. So it was organized like for a study to come back with some recommendations. It's quite but all those in favor saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. The 15.5. Contract award, Councillor Peter. Awarding of contracts, storm sewers, Orion Road, and multipurpose pathway second phase. Be it resolved that the contract TS 22-23995 not be awarded since the amounts of the two bids received are well over the budget for this project. I shall move, Mr. Mayor. Moved by Councillor Peter Burrow, seconded by Councillor Paul Boudreau. And a question, also two questions. If we do not do it, what happened with this? Will water go somewhere else, or it's on why so we were adding some storm sewer? We would put it for next year, so we would go to tender during the winter, and we will try to get more. Like the first phase, we had like 11 bidders, so we're saying yes, we still have an employee, so yeah, saying you instead. So there's a big difference, like 700,000 that were estimated, and that's a lot. So the estimate was it's when we went like to the, and it was reviewed like to 800,000. So it was the estimate, and the lowest bidders was at 1.1. So we were not able to justify like a 300,000 or more. So so that's something we will do next year. Moved by Councillor Peter Burrow, seconded by Councillor Paul Boudreau. All those in favor signify saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. 15.5. Awarding of contract, renewing of a concrete sidewalk being resolved to that the contract TS 22 to be awarded TS 222302 be awarded like to Maricom Road Recycling at the amount of $182,533.75 and HST included. I shall move. Moved by Councillor Paul Boudreau, seconded by Emile O'Brien. Questions? Where is that? It's on Main Street at the Ohio Street. Like we're doing like the two projects jointly. So it's a sidewalk like for a section. Is it a big job? Because my concern what's happening at the west side, and the traffic is. Will there be any closure of the street? Like if we have to close the two sides of Main Street? No, it won't be closed, but usually like they close maybe one side, and Main Street is wide enough, so there will be some road construction. And so when is it supposed to be done? But so we would do them and establish also the order, and we could look at that too. So we would say like probably the beginning of the fall. Thank you, Mark. We'll not wait to December. So all those in favor saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. Committee nomination, none to do this evening. And 7, like the adjournment, is moving it. Thank you very much, and have